How much do you know about K-food? How much hanshik have you eaten?
We invite you into the world of Korean food, of course, including the history and culture of it.
We'll introduce trendy foods and famous restaurants on Dish of the Day with
Chef Ryan Phillips.
The smell of something delicious is in the studio, and so is the man who made it. Chef Ryan is here, and I'm excited because it is Dish of the Day, and that means we're going to talk about what we should be eating.
And we get to eat this. I'm hungry.
Hold on, not yet.
Okay.
We gotta work ourselves up to it.
Okay.
How are you, Chef Ryan?
I'm good. How have you been?
I'm very good as well. I'm very happy
Excellent.
to be here. When they asked me to host, I was like, is Chef Ryan coming in? They said yes. I said, I'm there.
Hey! Yeah, all right.
Yeah, so very, very happy to see you. How has the summer treated your farm?
Wonderfully. The new land is above expectations.
Excellent.
Yes.
Very good news.
I was cutting the tall grass yesterday. After that rain, it just took off. I mean...
Yeah, well, that's a good thing, though. It means everything's growing.
Yeah, I cut it back, and these habanero plants that I wasn't really expecting to produce too much. The greenhouses are the productive things,
Of course, yes.
We can control more variables. We've got that on lockdown.
Yeah.
The land we just moved to this new farm. The land, it was an unknown variable, and I lowered my expectations greatly because you gotta tend to that soil. Who knows how it's been treated the last forever.
Yeah, there's no full-course crop rotation going on, perhaps.
Right, exactly. But I cut this tall grass back, and these beautiful, vibrant habanero plants, which is not easy to grow in Korea, by the way. It's really difficult. Just so healthy with these beautiful, bright, waxy habaneros, just covering them. I'm going to go out and harvest them after the show today.
That sounds brilliant. Just remember to wash your hands.
Yeah, it's tricky.
Now, before we get to food, we've got to talk about today's hashtag.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know how much of a drinker you are, but our hashtag today is soju. What does that mean to you?
That the green bottle is not my fave. What about you, man?
Look, I like the good stuff.
Yeah,
I haven't.
yeah.
I've not been drinking this year. I haven't drunk for almost 12 months now, for health reasons, from my blood pressure. But I have to say, if I was offered soju, not the green bottle, but something either artisanal or from one of the higher brands, then it's really good with some Korean food. Not all Korean food. Like, I wouldn't want soju and fried chicken, for example. But if you're having barbecue, it's quite nice. Or grilled fish.
I have been preaching this. So back maybe 12 years ago was one of my first consulting jobs in Korea. And the gentleman wanted to open a bar restaurant. And I was like, let's get some really cool old school soju. And so we found the only distributor of Andong soju in Seoul. And we had to go to this little old neighborhood, and we just went under a big pull-down garage door. Nobody's there. There's no registers, no signage. In the back, there's a pallet with a few bottles of that beautiful, you know it. I mean, these are stronger than the green bottle. They're 40%, but there are lower, they'll add more water to them. And
sure,
drop
you can
down
get 20% as well,
Exactly. And we tried it, and I was like, oh my God, this is actually really good. I mean, so smooth and clean.
This is the thing. When you look at properly made alcohol, if you're a drinker of alcohol, the good stuff doesn't burn.
Right.
It doesn't make you wince. The good stuff is good for a reason. It's drunk for a reason.
Boy.
So, we're not going to deal with soju today, and certainly it's far too early in the morning to be drinking, at least here.
Yes.
So what are we talking about? What is this delicious smell that I'm smelling right now in the studio?
Okay, there is a dish in Korea that you don't see all that often, to be honest, but I've come to love it more and more here recently because my kitchen neighbors would make it quite often.
Okay.
And it's arongsate. Or arongsate jeongol is what we have today, which is the stew with the arongsate.
Now I have to admit that I've never had this.
Oh, no kidding.
I don't think I've ever had this.
See, it's not that super common,
It's not. And even when you hear the name, Arongsate, the first thing I think of is peanut sauce. I think of Malaysian satay or Singaporean satay.
Yeah, there you go. To me, it sounded foreign as well, and so I wasn't sure of its origins. But what we're talking about, guys, is what chefs really have to do in a tight budgeted situation, what our best talents is if you could find an ingredient that's not terribly expensive and make something really good out of it.
Well, all good food, all the best food, if you look at French cookery, for example, or other cookery around the world, the best food is often made by the poorest chefs from the ingredients that nobody else wants.
Absolutely. Brazil is a perfect example of that with feijoada. That was a slave food that is now the national dish. They were just given the remnants of the pig or whatever, the cow, to make some beans, a little bit of spices, and they made what has become the national dish of Brazil.
Yeah, and you look at Korean food as well. Bibimbap is the mixing of everything that's left over.
That's it.
And yet it can be the prettiest and the most delicious dish ever.
So true.
So we're dealing with an unusual cut then.
Yeah. So down by the shank.
So this is beef shank, yeah.
Right. And this could be really tough, really chewy, right? I mean, these are things you have to put a little more effort into, but that's what I'm talking about. You get an ingredient that's a little less expensive, turn it into something amazing, and you've got nice margins to play with.
Well, that's the thing. The chefs are always trying to make a little bit of money. So this is it's not the whole shank though. It's just one muscle. It's the heel muscle, I think.
That's right. There's a particular muscle. It's smaller. It's I would say about a foot in length at the most.
Yeah.
And there's tendon in there. This is a little foreign to some folks, but trust me, you got to try it. The texture is lovely when it's done properly.
Well, I have to say, when I was a child and my parents were teaching me about cookery, what they always talked about was that the tastiest bits of the animal were the bits that worked. The bits that were doing things.
That's where the flavor is, right?
Yeah,
right,
because the bits that sort of just hang about, they're not doing anything. But the muscles that are working, they might be tough and they may take a little more time or a little more care.
Yeah, you're not making stock from fillet. You're making stock from from
the oxtail or from other parts that are waggling around all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. Good point. I like that.
It's interesting for those who are interested about the term. The satay is the space between the legs or between two objects. So it's the name that as you slice it, you get the arong, which is the dazzle, and then the satay is between the two legs.
Between the two.
So we're getting this dazzling bit of meat that wasn't really thought much of until someone did something delicious with it.
Yeah, I guess if you think about the way the bones form, it's kind of between the two right there. That's what they're talking about, eh?
But I have to say that one thing Korea is very good at is getting meat out of hard to find places.
True.
If you look at kamjatang, the pork spine stew, which I think is one of the most delicious ways you can eat pork in Korea. One of the amazing things is they give you basically a hunk of spine, a hunk of backbone, and you have to dig into it.
Oh boy!
But it has the tenderest pork you've ever eaten.
It is, and you even get the spinal cords in there sometimes too.
Yeah, all right. We don't need to get that far. Our listeners may not have their breakfast.
That's just spinal cord in Mexico. Yeah.
That I would be happy to have that.
It's lovely.
Okay, but we're not talking about spine today. We're talking about shank.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit more about it and what we're going to do to it.
Yeah, so today we've got a stew, a jeongol, which has mushrooms and garlic chives, and often there might be some cabbage in there. And the broth, guys, if you're making this, while you're cooking your shank or that muscle, you can make the broth at the same time, because this is obviously it is a tougher piece of meat, so you do have to cook it without a pressure cooker. You're talking an hour and a half probably. With a pressure cooker, you can knock that down to probably 20 minutes or so.
No, that's no fun. You like to potter about in the kitchen, you know?
Well, if you're making like 100 of these, and you're pressed for time. Pressure cookers are a beautiful thing, man.
If you're making 100 of these, you need 50 cows.
This is true, and that is the marketing tool of this dish. I found across the web. Rather than say, "Oh, this is a cheap, tough, chewy piece of meat," like I've been saying, they're gonna say, "It's a rare there's only a few grams per cow.
It's not even a kilo. It's like 600 to 800 grams per cow. It's not a lot of meat.
Which, who knows where it was going before this dish was made popular. But
it was probably going into a stew for somebody.
There you go.
But it might not have been cooked properly. You don't just have to have it in the jeongol, though. You can have it in other dishes.
Absolutely. There's muchim, like a spicy salad with more greens. Actually, the first time I ever had it, it was just beautifully arranged on a plate in a circular pattern. There's some garlic chives with it, and then the same sauce that I have today, which I'm afraid has vinegar in it. So
that's all right.
Yeah. But yeah, so kind of like you do with like a suyuk or a morigogi, the head cheese of Korea or the pressed meats of Korea. You just have them even cold or room temperature and then dipped in a sauce on the side.
Yeah, there is something to say that not all Korean meat is served hot, especially these
charcuterie, baby.
Yeah, these boiled meats, the suyuks, which doesn't have to just be beef, it can be pork as well. And as you said, the head cheese. I'm not sure. Do you say head cheese for cows as well as pigs?
I don't think so.
Okay, we'll have to do some research about that. But certainly, the head cheese and other parts can be served cold, but they are delicious. Don't be scared.
Yeah. Oh, and waste not, want not, right? You gotta snout to tail, right? You gotta use it all.
Yes. Do cows have snouts?
Well, yeah, okay, you got me.
All right, okay, we'll go for a song break and then we'll come back and we'll break down this dish. We'll get into some more details about it. Oh, yeah, and we're going to taste it as well. Keep your messages coming in. Keep your questions in for Chef Ryan and for what's in your fridge. Do let us know what is in your fridge so he can give you some suggestions. In the meantime, we'll have a song. Here is Kim Min Sok from Melomanx with Overpace. That was Kim Min Sok with Overpace. And this is #Daily K. It is Dish of the Day with Chef Ryan. We've got some Arongsate, and if I am this Arong, I don't want to be right. DQ Illy Lily says, this is new. I've never seen this dish the whole time I lived in Korea. I actually love beef shank, and I love beef tendons. And it's a jeongol. I've eaten this type of stew, but you've not had this, and neither have I. So this is very, very exciting.
Are you ready to see this thing?
Now, we just have to make sure we got the camera on. If you're watching on YouTube, you're going to get a glimpse of this fantastic pot that Chef Ryan has cooked this in.
Here we go.
Two, there it is. Oh, my goodness.
Look at that.
Yeah, now this reminds me of oxtail soup in Korea and other beefy stews where there's no sort of red chili powder in there. There's no kimchi in there. It's a fairly transparent or plain broth, but all the flavors concentrated in the meat.
Well, I cheated. I did do some dogani in here too, so I got a little bit cloudier broth. Normally, this is a more clear broth.
All right, for those
you're making it from the shank, not so much tendon. But do you like dogani tongue?
I'm fine with it. The texture is not my favorite.
It's not your favorite. Okay,
but
I'm a big fan.
For those who don't know, dogani is the knee.
Right.
So it's another part of the cow that most people would look over, would not bother with.
Yeah. And if you look closely at the arongsate, you'll see that there's tendon running through there.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to cook it, especially that's why you have to cook it an hour and a half without a pressure cooker, is to soften that up. That part will still be a little chewy, and that's holding this meat together. In an hour and a half of boiling, if it didn't have that tendon, this would fall apart. So it's that's why this is the magical piece.
Okay.
And there's garlic chives in here. There's the little thin enoki mushrooms, as they're called in the West. And you see my broth is a little cloudy, but normally this would be more clear. I couldn't resist putting a few extra tendon pieces in there.
I don't think that's a problem, because when you think of beef soup in Korea, it is that cloudy broth that I think is a mark of a really rich stock.
Usually. Now I'm just going to set you up with a little bit, and you're welcome to grab more if you like there.
All right. I have a bowl. I have a little bit of cowney as well.
And you do. I gave you one little piece.
All right.
I'm going to tuck in pretty good here.
I'm gonna try the meat first, because this is the big focus, the arongsate, the meat itself. And as Ryan said, it's got some tendon running through there.
How's the texture?
Now
I haven't tried it yet.
That is absolutely delicious.
The texture, I got the texture okay?
The texture is good. It's in Korea, a little bit of chew is much prized.
Right.
If there is chew, then people like that. If it just melts in your mouth, people might be like, what's the point?
Right.
I want a little bit of texture. And the tendon, it's not chewy, as we would say in English, but it has a chew to it. It takes a little bit of time to process it in your mouth. And again, you've got a very concentrated beef broth. There's not a lot of liquid in here. And so you've got a really strong beefy flavor. It's boldened by the mushrooms. You've got that savory taste coming in there. The garlic chives give it that solong tang flavor as well.
That's right. Yeah.
It's a triumph. I think I'm going to have another piece. You need to start talking.
Yeah. So this cut is so unique. Okay, if you've never had anything like this, one of the best ways to describe it texturally. Let's see. Okay. A lot of people will say things like, oh, the meat was falling off the bone. You know, it was so good it was falling off the bone. When I do spare ribs, pork spare ribs, or baby backs or anything, I don't want it to fall off the bone. To me, if it falls off the bone, I haven't done the right job. I want it to be tender, but soft enough to where you can pull it off of there, but a little bit of chew. And that's how this is. If it's just totally mushy, I'm just not enjoying it. I'm not happy with my cook time.
I know what you mean. Some foods are meant to be, fall apart. I think if you look at American pulled pork, or you go to Mexico for the carnitas, and also lots of countries where you are cooking low and slow and you are waiting for it to fall apart, or if you look at one of the famous pseudo-Italian dishes, spaghetti bolognese, where the point is the meat becomes part of the sauce. That's good, but when you're dealing with a particular cut of meat, and the whole point is
showcasing it.
Yeah, this is not your normal beef. This is not just a slice of beef. This is something extra. It makes a difference when you have that shape, you have the look of it, but also you have that texture to it.
Well, okay, I'm going to try with a little bit of this sauce, which is very much like the sauce we had last weekend, last week, but the only difference is there's some minced up onion there and a bit more vinegar. Soy sauce, definitely. There's a little bit of the spicy mustard.
So it's it's your own play on the dipping sauce that you would get for all sorts of suyuk for the boiled meats or other meat dishes.
Exactly.
Or even, I think you could probably have that sauce with dumplings or with other little things that need a little bit of a kick.
Totally. Oh, that works. Because there's not a lot of fat here, which I left out earlier. Often when you make this dish, you do this Korean thing that just blew my mind when I first got here. Whenever you're cooking meat, especially meat on the bone or meat with a lot of tendon, you boil it for just a few minutes, and you throw all that water away.
Yeah, why is this done? What is the whole point of boiling the meat and then starting over?
Getting rid of the bad bits.
What are the bad bits?
Well, whenever you make stock, you know how there's so much that floats up the top, those impurities that float up to the top?
I believe in my house we call it the scum.
There you go. Well, by doing that quick boil, there's a lot less of those impurities that come up. You're getting rid of them really fast. And in this Bali world, it works.
So you're not getting rid of any of the flavor. You're not getting rid of any of the goodness.
When I first saw this, I was like, how dare you waste that water? But most of it, like the meat would take longer to impart its flavor, but the little pieces of fat or the blood and stuff, that's all coming out pretty quickly. And that's been done across when you're talking about kamjatang or pyohae those pork spine bones, they do the same thing with that.
Yeah. I think the other big difference is that in European stews, often the meat would be fried. Or even covered in flour and fried, and you'd be making the sauce from the fond, from the brown bits at the bottom. But this cooking process is very different. We're taking out that oil or butter step. There's no need to brown the meat, and so therefore you can just make it cleaner, get a fresher taste from it.
Toss that water out and then start again. And then you're still getting a flavorful stock. It does work. But when I first got here and I was seeing people do this, I was like, what in the world?
Yeah, it is. It is a bit of a culture shock. I think also because when I was growing up, I was taught that the water that you cook the vegetables in, you know, this was good water. This is water you should be using. You make the stock or you do whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that's, certainly for me, that was why it was shocking to me. Because it's like, yes, this is what we need to be using. But once you see it done and once you taste the difference, it does make sense.
It does. It works. And by the way, when you do start your stock and start actually cooking after that initial boil, you might throw in like a daepa or a Korean leek, some garlic, some whole peppercorns, probably, let's see, not radish in this one, surprisingly enough, like in so many broths in Korea. A little slice of ginger is often used as well. Some folks will even add a bit of doenjang to it. But yeah, you bring that up to a boil and let it go for an hour and a half if you're not in the pressure cooker. And then you can take those pieces out and check how done they are. You want to have a little bit of a chew on the tendon parts, and then the meat parts are going to be pretty tender.
Yeah, and which is what you've got right here. If you've been to Korea and you haven't had the arongsate, but you had gomtang or solongtang, which are other beef stews, then the texture of the meat part, not the tendon, is quite similar. When it's done well, it should be soft, a little bit of chew, but it's still melting in your mouth. And the broth itself has a very similar taste to solongtang. It has that rich cow bone or cow meat, long cooked flavor.
Don't you love those restaurants that talk about how their broth has been going for decades or whatever? You know,
yeah,
they just transfer it from one big pot to the other. And
I hope they wash them carefully. That's all. But that's something that's been done for so long. We've got DQ Lily saying it reminds me a bit of kalbitang. And I think, yes, again, you were talking about the clear broth. Normally, kalbitang is going to be a clear broth. Right. But the taste and texture of the meat, again, it's not fall off the bone, but it's pull off the bone.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the way to go. So if you get a chance and you're trying some barbecue ribs, you know, just think about that. Just think about that a little bit. I'm curious. And let me know. Let me know if you found your place that has it where it falls off or if it's got a little bit of chew and which one you preferred more.
Yeah. Now, one question is, what are you going to have with this?
Well,
is this a rice? Is this a rice situation? Because you've not given me any rice.
It's a rice situation, but no rice for you today.
I mean, this is terrible.
Yes, it would normally be rice, but actually, the way this is done in most places that serve this dish, it's kind of an anju thing.
Okay, so this goes with the soju. It's the drinking
soju.
Food.
Yeah, totally. And the jeongol is very popular with the stew, but I think the most popular way would be just the meat with the sauce and maybe some garlic chives with that, or even kind of a muchim salad served with it. So the meat is just around kind of a little muchim thing, and you can grab a bite with your chopsticks and grab a little bit of that salad, which is a lot of kind of thinly ribbon cuts of daepa with, let's see, arugula would work pretty well, but most of the time you'll see things, just different kinds of greens. The Korean red leaf lettuce is so common, mixed with a spicy sauce that has vinegar, usually some kind of sugar, or maybe if you're lucky, pear juice or something like that. Some toasted sesame oil, sesame seeds, gochugaru, and maybe some meishil.
Yeah, and of course the rice. If you're having it as a meal, the rice. Now, with some of these soups, noodles get added. Would it be added to the arongsate?
You know, if you did see them, you'd see the same noodles that you saw with the galbitang, which would be the dangmyeon, the starch noodles, the potato starch noodles.
Yeah, but sometimes I've had, for example, the gomtang, not the bear soup, but the beef soup,
and
where
they
put
wheat
in
noodles on the side.
Yeah, the very thin wheat noodles that go into the broth.
Yeah, almost like angel hair pasta.
So I think that's the other important thing. If you're having a bottle of soju, you can just have the meat as it is, and you can enjoy it as it is. But if you're having breakfast, lunch, or dinner, then I think, for me personally, the bowl of rice is what works for me, because I may get hate mail for this. I'm going to tell you, Chef Ryan, I do not put my rice into the soup.
Yeah, no, neither do I.
What I do is I put the soup into the rice. and I start to let the soup come in because I want to control the amount of soup in my rice, how soupy the rice gets, because you want a little bit of chew to the rice.
Throwing the whole bowl of rice into the soup just seems like a kid thing.
Well, no, it's a matter of taste, and we shouldn't yuck anyone's yum, Chef Ryan. And speaking of not yucking anyone's yum, we're hopefully going to be helping someone because it is going to be what is in your fridge. That's coming up after the next song break. This is a delicious food. If you have any questions for Chef Ryan, do let us know. And trust me, it is delicious and it still smells so gorgeous. In the meantime, let's take a listen. Here's Stray Kids with I Do. We are here with Chef Ryan for Dish of the Day. That was Stray Kids with I Do. And we do be eating this arongsate, this beautiful beef shank, or part of the shank stew. It is delicious.
Lovely.
Chef Ryan is clearly in love with his own food, and I like that.
I'm happy.
Yeah,
I didn't actually try it before bringing it up, so you're getting the real, honest response.
Hang on, you didn't try it when you were seasoning it?
Well, no, just the broth.
Yeah.
But not altogether. You
didn't check that the meat was fork tender?
No, actually I didn't. But when I was cutting it, I could tell.
Okay, I'm starting to be a little suspicious of you now. Are you really a chef?
I was in a hurry. I'm doing all this morning. It's crazy.
You did a brilliant job. It is delicious. We got some messages in, and we've also got some pictures of delicious things. Let's see. We've got Kushi Thanki 9030 saying, here, we don't cook and eat beef. People eat meat, but we don't eat beef. Fair enough. Some cultures don't eat beef. Some cultures don't eat pork. Sure. Here in Korea, I can't get any pigeon. Oh. It's very upsetting.
Yeah, or quail. There's so many quail eggs.
So many quail eggs, not enough quails.
They're hiding the quail.
And we got some beautiful dishes there. That looks like some delicious bread and some filled things. Maybe is that a spread or a hummus or something?
I think I know what that is. I think that's bulgur wheat. And usually I'd have them with beef. Those balls?
Yeah. Oh, they look a bit like falafel.
Yeah. Or they have a version of it in Brazil, the kibe. Kibe. Have you ever had a kibe?
I don't think I've had a kibe.
Usually it's minced beef and cracked bulgur wheat and some mint made into almost like an American football shape and fried. And it's absolutely lovely. And it's in Brazil because of the Lebanese immigrants that brought so much of their cuisine over to Brazil.
Yeah, and that was Kushi Thanki's breakfast, and this is Kushi Thanki's brunch.
Ooh la la.
Which looks like some fried noodles with some bread.
It does.
It also looks very good. I think you're eating very, very well. You may not be eating beef, but you're eating delicious things. Yeah. And also we've got pictures from Lilith. Let's take a look. She says, since the beef shank was cooked in a stew, these are 2 Korean stews and soups I made. The first is bulgogi jeongol. I love this, but I don't make it often because my sister doesn't like the chrysanthemum green vegetables on the top of this dish.
That's what I was going to ask, if it was the sukkat.
It is, yeah. And the second one is my first attempt to make galbitang with short rib. This is my sister's favorite Korean dish, so she requested I make it, so I learned how to do it.
Way to go, Lilith. That looks beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, the fantastic food. Do we have the second picture? Maybe we only have that first one, but it certainly looks delicious. The second picture is here.
There's the short ribs.
Excellent, well done.
Wow, and the rib and the eggs. If you guys are ever curious how to do this little egg trick, have you done this before?
I don't eat eggs.
Oh, that's right. My bad.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Chef Ryan.
Sorry about that.
Doesn't taste his food. Doesn't remember I don't eat eggs.
Okay, if you just take the egg yolk and whip it up a little bit and heat up a pan and then turn the pan off and then pour that on and then kind of roll the pan around to get a nice thin even layer. You get a really thin flat yellow egg, then toss that on a cutting board, roll it up and chiffonade it, and you get those ribbons that you often see as a garnish in Korean food.
And it's even better if you've got one of those little rectangular pans.
Yeah, right.
Because there you get a lovely square shape. Yeah. You can cut the perfect ribbons.
Yeah, and then you can take the white and do the same thing with that and have a white garnish.
Or you can just not eat egg. It's much simpler. Siska says it looks so yum. Indonesian oxtail soup is also so good. I love the gomtang, but not so long tang really. I also like galbitang. And Lily says, in Chinese cooking, blanching the meat is common to remove impurities before cooking it, just like us. And I do like solong tang and dogani tang. Actually, I think Lily, this would be right up your street.
Yeah. I want to eat this right now.
Not
but
yet.
I'm going to be patient.
Not yet.
So I can get to what's in your fridge. Okay. Siska writes in, what's in my poor fridge?
Oh, no.
Every week, Siska. But we're so glad you send it to us. Today, Siska has milk, eggs, papaya, pear, orange, ready-to-eat meatballs, beef, chili, and more ice cream than last week.
Also, fruit, dairy, and meat. Why are you laughing? This is a serious thing.
I love it.
We've got to sort this out.
Okay, I got it. I think I got it.
Okay.
So, have you guys ever tried the Korean tteokgalbi? It's minced beef, mixed, often sweetened with pear.
Yeah.
And it's made into kind of like a Salisbury steak.
Yes, it's in a patty shape.
In a patty shape. Well, so you could take your meatballs, and then you said they're already cooked. But you could break them up, and you could hold them together with the egg. Okay, and so you make like a beef kind of patty out of that, and then I think you could mince up some chili and add it to that as well. But now you need a sweet element to make it kind of like tteokgalbi. Yeah. We're not talking super sweet, but a little sweet. And why don't you take your papaya? We could do the pear and go totally Korea, but I want to try. Have you ever made a jam from your papaya, I wonder? If you cook down fruit and add maybe a little bit of sugar and just let it simmer until the sugars in there almost caramelize, and all that flavor comes together. And you could serve it on the side with your beef patty. I know this sounds a little strange to people, but it is similar to like a tteokgalbi here in Korea.
Yeah, and in the UK, often meats and jams go together. Mint jelly for lamb and cooked apples or apple jam for pork, red currant jelly for beef.
Yeah, Kansas City barbecue sauce has got a lot of honey in it.
Yeah,
or a lot of molasses.
I tell you the other thing, if you make that jam or make that sweet fruit cooked thingy, whatever it may be, you could glaze whatever meat you're cooking, and then you could put it under the grill.
There you go.
There's lots of things to do.
Get that to really caramelize on there.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Siska. I hope that works for you.
Whose fridge have we got next?
All right, Halsarino down in Brazil. Oi, cara, tudo bom? We've got... first, Halsarino says that he made the moussaka that we recommended earlier.
Excellent.
And it tasted so good. He did make some alterations. You know moussaka from
course,
Korea. I love
yes.
this thing. Moussaka is topped with a kind of bechamel egg yolk custard.
Or without the eggs.
So
You don't have to put the eggs in. You can just do a bechamel.
No, you need the eggs.
You don't
listen
need the
to
eggs.
this guy.
He knows nothing. He's not really a chef.
Well, Halsarino actually added rice and cheese to the top later. Now, I will tell you, Halsarino, if you mention to a Greek person that you added cheese to the top of moussaka, they will not be very happy.
But
so you might just mums the word on that.
But the truth is, moussaka is tasty with cheese.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I did it on a TV show, and I got some, or it was a YouTube show, and in the comments, I got some serious hate from some people.
You've got to be careful.
But in my defense, the PD, the producer there, he was like, "Can you please grade some American cheese on the top?" I was like, "Really?" But they really wanted that shot. Because I was representing America making a Greek dish. Anyway.
I mean, maybe you got the hate because you used American cheese.
Yeah.
Not European cheese.
Yeah.
Which is the better cheese.
What cheese would you put in there?
I'm British. I would use cheddar.
Yeah.
A very good aged, mature
English
cheddar.
white cheddar on the top of it. That makes sense.
I mean, Gruyere is good.
Gruyere
Edam
would
is
be
good.
pretty sweet because like a quiche Lorraine with the Gruyere, that bechamel custard and Gruyere would be amazing.
Or Parmigiano Reggiano, or any of the Grana Padano, any of the hard Italian cheeses will also go well.
We could make a whole show about
We
cheese.
could, but we can't. Have we got what's in the fridge?
Get to his fridge.
Get in the fridge. We've got a minute.
He's still got 20 kg bag of potatoes. Is almost empty. I see. And then condiments, eggs, feijoada.
That's a meal in itself.
Onions, tomatoes, and tapioca flour. Since you only have a little bit of potato left, I want to focus on that, my friend.
What are you going to do?
Have you ever had a Palms Anna?
A what?
A Palms Anna.
Anna's potato?
It's a French dish from hundreds of years ago, and you cut the potato into what's that coin from France?
A franc?
a franc, what's it called? A lore? Anyway, there's a coin, and you cut them like that shape.
Yeah.
The old cookbook even says cut them in that shape, and then you arrange them in like a flower pattern.
Okay.
And then you have usually clarified butter, or just butter that you've removed the milk solids from, and then you keep layering this and cook it really slowly and flip it occasionally, and just keep going until you have at least a centimeter or two thickness of these thin potatoes with butter and salt and pepper, just going up, and then use that as a base. You can put a poached egg on top, maybe some blanched spinach, but just the parmesan itself is really remarkable. It's one of my favorite classes to teach young culinary students because it does knife skills and it really teaches you what a potato can become.
Excellent.
Well, the crispy thing.
I'd suggest a frittata. It's much easier. Fantastic.
With or without eggs?
With eggs. I know you're eating them. Thank you so much, Chef Ryan.
My pleasure.
It's
man.
been
It's
brilliant.
really good. Are you here next week too?
No, I'm not.
Oh,
I've been
man.
kicked out. I'm sorry. Peter will be back with his terrible taste buds. Thank you, Chef Ryan. We'll have another song now. This is from our 2 p.m. friend, the wonderful DJ. Her new song, it's Pretty Little Iris with Destroy Me.